Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so I do appreciate that you agreed to answer the first question in your native language of your GalaxyQuest character, Lara. No, I'm kidding.
Yes.
So this is one of your earliest first roles. What was your reaction when you first read the script?
I didn't read the script. I just got I got a page. I got a page. That's how long ago this was. That they needed they were having trouble casting this part, and I left a play rehearsal that I was doing to go over an audition. And I didn't really know anything. I read the sides and I was like, well, I don't really know what to do with this. And then the casting director, she said, I'm trying to remember her name. Give me a second. I did a lot of drinking for a long time. Anyway, she said, listen, I don't normally do this, but I want to show you someone else's audition to give you a feel of like what we're looking for. And the audition was Jed Reese, who played Quellic, but he was auditioning for Mathazar, who's originally named Betzelar, which I thought was the greatest name ever, but they couldn't clear it. So he does this. He goes, and I was like, oh, I know exactly what to do with this. I was like, got it, great. And then it was just, and I found out that the casting director stapled her CSA card, the Casting Society card, to my resume and said, if you don't hire her, I'm quitting the union. It was amazing. I mean, I was young, so I didn't really understand how special it was. Thank God, because I probably would have freaked out or
So your first day on set, what was it like for you the first day on set when you're in the makeup and the costume and your friendly character and being your first day on set?
First we did Thermian school. And so we all met up with the director. It was me, Enrico Colantoni, Jed Reese, Patrick Breen. I think Rainn Wilson was there at the time too, and a couple other people. And we just figured out, who are these people? What are they going to do? How are they going to walk? And we figured because they've watched the historical documents, but they only see in black and white. So that's why our colors are black and white, or grayscale. Everything is grayscale that they see. But we're trying to be them, but we're really these blobs, we're really giant squid-like characters. So we thought that they probably have no idea of spatial relationships, so they get maybe too close. And they were trying to cut the walk down, but they don't walk, they just slide across with their tentacles. So then we did this, that we figured it would be funny if they just got it a little bit wrong.
Interesting. So in some ways, it was more like a silent film. When you're doing that, because you didn't have a lot of verbal in those scenes, you had to kind of express everything through body language.
A lot of it, yeah. I mean, I do talk in the movie, but my translator is broken in the beginning, so it said she's like a baby in a bagpipe. That was the sound, so I was like, I just breathed in and imagined a baby in a bagpipe.
Now, you had a slightly different role with a little more coordinated, DodgeBall.
Yes.
Again, how was that? Again, makeup and kind of inventing a whole new character.
Well, in the very beginning of my career, I would see the character or I wouldn't. And I knew that I was weird, so I knew that the only way, because there's a bazillion people auditioning for everything, and I knew that going into that, I had to make a bold choice, and I think you have to make a bold choice so that they remember you. And I had just worked on 50 First Dates with this amazing actress. I can't remember her name, but she's in it, and she had the buns on the braids on top of her head. And I thought, that'd be funny for this character, because the character description, initially she was a robot, kind of and then she became a human, but the idea was the camera starts at the bottom and goes up, and she's got a big, nice butt and boobs, but then you see her face and you're like, ah! So I put braids on my head, and I drew, and she has a unibrow, so I drew in my eyebrows, and I gave myself a beauty mark and red lipstick. And I think I colored my teeth in or something a little bit, I can't remember.
You definitely seem drawn to interesting, quirky characters, even Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. What was the experience working with?
They're similar. All three of these are similar facial expressions.
But again, what was Tim Burton's world like? You're getting to live in the world with the production design and the makeup and his very different visual style.
Well, this again, like I did Big Fish, and it's just whenever I get these parts, I think, how does this happen? Like, I had a small part in Big Fish, and she was the woman who was supposed to play her was a local hire, and that woman ended up like when they were shooting it, it was a huge flood in the town of Spectre, so. They had to push it, and she couldn't do it I think she'd do a play. So I, again, auditioned, was on a plane the next day, and I did that movie. And then when Charlie came around, my manager reached out to them, and Tim was like, oh, Tim loves Missi, but she's not right for the role. And then a cut to a month and a half later, they're like, can Missi get on a plane and be in this movie? I was like, Missi can get on a plane, yes. And that was exciting. He actually took over this project for somebody else. I can't remember who was directing it initially, but I love Tim Burton. He is like a whimsical, I don't know what's the like just a wizard. I mean, he's so happy and excited, and like the world that he lives in is just, it's like nothing else. He wears the same he has the same shirts and pants made so he can look exactly the same but he's just a special human.
And my final question is actually one of my favorite roles of yours, the artist. A role where you didn't have the tool of voice, obviously. What was the experience shooting a silent film that obviously wound up winning Best Picture, a terrific film that Hollywood has not seen in a very long time?
Nobody knew that it was going to be Best Picture, I think, because when I auditioned for it, I had this audition, and it was like in downtown Hollywood, in a basement, and I walked in, and there was nobody there, and I was auditioning for the wife character, and my friend was in town. I was like, I don't know, should we just go? Nobody came out the door. I was like, is anybody here? And then somebody came out. There was just one person, and I went in, and I thought I was playing the wife, which ended up being played by Penelope Ann Miller. But I started acting, and I was like, and she's like, no, you can speak. We're just not going to record the dialogue. And I was like, oh, okay. So it was really just, speaking, but then obviously being a little bit more elevated. And then when I got to the set, I thought I was playing the wife. And they're like, no, they kept saying, oh, you're the actress. And I was like, yeah, I'm an actress. I don't know what you're saying. But because there were no lines to memorize, I just jumped right in. Although, at one point they said, oh, tomorrow we're going to have you do the Juliet monologue. And I was like, from Shakespeare? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I have to learn Shakespeare so you can not record my dialogue? And I did pretty well, but nobody heard it.